The roaring engine of a black luxury car echoed through the quiet night as a man in casual clothes stopped before a grand mansion. The guards at the gate stepped forward, suspicious eyes scanning his face as if he didn't belong there. They didn't know the man standing before them was not just a visitor but the owner, the powerful CEO who had built an empire from nothing. Yet tonight, his success meant nothing to them. Their prejudice spoke louder than truth, and in that moment of arrogance, they crossed a line they would never forget. He didn't argue, didn't shout, just watched as they disrespected him at his own home. Behind his calm eyes, a storm was brewing, a silent revenge waiting to unfold. Within minutes, the same guards who mocked him would face a shocking twist that would destroy their pride forever. David Carter, a black CEO known for his intelligence and humility, had returned home after finalizing one of the biggest business deals of his career. The mansion standing before him was more than a house. It was a symbol of his struggle, years of sacrifice, and the dreams his parents once thought were impossible. But as he tried to enter his own gate, the guards blocked his path. They assumed he was an intruder, judging him by his skin and his clothes instead of his success. He spoke politely, introducing himself, yet they laughed in disbelief, mocking him for claiming ownership of something they thought a man like him could never afford. The humiliation stung deeper than words could express, but he held his anger like fire behind glass. He knew something they didn't. Their arrogance was about to meet the power of truth. And it would burn. Step 3, main body, 500 words. As the night breeze carried whispers through the tall iron gate, David stood motionless, his eyes fixed on the guards who continued their baseless accusations. Every word they spoke dripped with disrespect. They treated him like a stranger trespassing on someone else's land, yet that land was his dream turned reality. He remembered the sleepless nights, the years of rejection, the countless meetings where he had been underestimated for how he looked rather than what he could do. Tonight, those same judgments returned, not from boardrooms but from men meant to protect his home. One guard stepped forward, saying in a firm voice that he would call the police. David's lips curved into a calm smile as he took out his phone and began recording. He wanted the truth to be seen, not just heard. The red light blinked on his screen as the guards continued their disrespectful questioning, their tone filled with authority that didn't belong to them. Minutes passed, and headlights appeared down the road. A sleek SUV stopped behind David's car, and from it stepped a well-dressed woman carrying a briefcase, his assistant Lisa, and beside her, his lawyer. Their expressions were sharp, confident, and unbothered. The guards froze for a moment, realizing the situation was shifting. Lisa walked to the gate and spoke with a steady tone that sliced through the silence. "Gentlemen, the man you're trying to stop is Mr. David Carter, the CEO of Carter Industries and the owner of this mansion." The guards' faces drained of color. Their earlier confidence vanished as quickly as it came. One tried to speak, but no words formed. David finally stepped closer, his voice calm yet powerful. "You see," he said, "when you looked at me, you saw nothing more than color. You didn't see effort, struggle, or success. You saw what you wanted to believe." The guard stood speechless, unable to meet his gaze. The security had arrived, breathless and confused, asking what had happened. Lisa handed him the contract papers and property ownership documents signed with David's name. The truth hit them all like thunder. David didn't raise his voice. His silence carried more weight than anger ever could. He looked at each guard and said, "You're all fired, effective immediately." Shock rippled through the air as they realized the man they had insulted held the power to decide their fate. Their arrogance had cost them their dignity, their jobs, and their respect. The guards lowered their heads, but no apology could erase what had been done. David turned away, walked toward his mansion, and as the gates opened, The weight of poetic justice filled the air. The same gates that once blocked him now opened wide, welcoming him home like a king reclaiming his throne. As David stepped inside his mansion, the soft lights reflected off the marble floor, yet his heart was heavier than the silence around him. Success had taught him wealth could buy comfort, but never respect. He paused by the doorway, glancing back at the guards who now stood outside, their pride shattered by their own ignorance. In that moment, he realized his revenge was not in firing them, but in proving them wrong with grace. The same man they mocked walked inside without shouting, without hate, carrying dignity that no prejudice could break. He sat in his living room, looked at the empire he built, and whispered to himself, "Power isn't loud, it's quiet, calm, and undeniable." That night, the world learned a lesson it often forgets: never judge a person by their skin, for beneath it may live a story greater than your imagination.